What's up, wall fans, common sensors, social media world? Welcome to the live stream for episode 4 of Common Sense Sundays with Go Tell It to the Wall. I'm, of course, your favorite podcast host, the one and only Sean O'Rourke. I like to keep these Common Sense Sundays somewhat lighthearted, at least to an extent. We do talk about serious stuff when it comes to mental health. That's very personal to me. But we're not going to... It's not going to be lighthearted today. It's not. And I am by no means an expert on anything that's happening throughout the country, throughout the world right now. But I'm going to do my best to talk about it, especially how it pertains to things that we talk about here at Go Tell It to the Wall. So please forgive me on the live feed. I'm going to do my absolute best. And I will warn everyone, this one's probably not going to be one to listen to when the kids are around. Yeah. I guess that being said, let's get into it. All right, wall fans, common sensors podcast consumers, anyone who's finding this and hearing my voice, welcome to episode 4 of Common Sense Sundays with Go Tell It to the Wall, hosted by me, your absolute favorite podcast host, the one and only Sean O'Rourke. I warned everyone on the live feed, before we get into social plugs and everything, I try to keep these lighthearted. I really do. I do. And today is just not the Sunday to be able to do that as much as I like to. And I told everyone on the live feed, I'm no expert. I'm not an expert in anything. I'm not really highly talented in everything, and anything in particular. You know, I have a marketing background, and I yell at a wall. That's where my talents lie, so I'm going to do my best to talk about current things and hopefully relate it back to things that are important to Go Tell It to the Wall. Social justice, mental health, and all those good things, parenting. But I can't guarantee that I can keep it as lighthearted as we usually do on these Common Sense Sundays. So please bear with me. And if you're turning this on, you're turning on the audio and your kids are around, turn it off. This is not the episode to be listening to with your kids around at all. All right, we always kick things off with our social plugs. You can keep up with the podcast during episodes, after episodes, whenever you so please, and you can do that in multiple locations. One of them is Facebook. We're currently live on Facebook.com. Head over there to Facebook.com/GoTellItToTheWall. Like our page, check back often. That's going to keep you updated on everything. We've also made a point of sharing a lot of things that have been talked about on the podcast. And keep in mind, most of the things we share, these are not paid sponsorships. These are simply things that I like or friends of Go Tell It to the Wall like, or are timely, given what we're living in right now, such as the masks we've been sharing, or bands and merch companies that could use a little extra help right now. So this isn't me getting paid to promote these things, but you are going to find them on Facebook.com/GoTellItToTheWall. Also, YouTube, head over to YouTube, search Go Tell It to the Wall, subscribe to our channel, check back often. That's where you're going to find all of our live feeds. They get posted after the fact. You're also going to find our beer reviews, our mental health playlist, our parenting playlist, all kinds of good stuff up there. So make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. And of course, you can follow my own personal Instagram account, which is @SoCalSean. That, as I've said before, is not completely related to Go Tell It to the Wall or Common Sense Sundays. However, you're going to get some cool photos and stuff and keep up with me personally, I guess, which is what you can do. You can also friend me on Facebook. I usually, if you're connected to me in some way, I accept most friend requests unless you start sending me a bunch of spam and whatever else, then you're getting blocked. And of course, our website, SeanO'RourkeLive.com. Bookmark that, check back often. You're going to find things that you don't find anywhere else. There's blog posts, there's photos up there, all kinds of stuff that you don't find anywhere else. and it'll also link you to the things I just mentioned, as well as a link to our Patreon campaign. Unfortunately, I haven't been up to date on the website, and this past week I went over there and I realized that there was a problem with the Patreon link. So if you went to SeanWillWorkLive.com recently over the past couple weeks and couldn't find the actual active link for Patreon, it is up there now. So you can link directly through SeanWillWorkLive.com. They changed some stuff with it. I'm not. That's the thing. I don't have a ton of talents here, and I'm not a technical guy. So I'm navigating website design myself. It's really interesting. Just yeah. And as far as some other stuff coming out from Go Tell It to the Wall and from Common Sense Sundays, a brand new punk rock suggestions of the week went up last week. I believe I mentioned that was coming on the last episode, featuring Dropkick Murphys, so check that out. There's also a new rant, a Go Tell It to the Wall rant that was included on Something's Not Right Studios tonight, SNRS tonight, that you'll find. It was very well put together, unsurprisingly. They are putting out some great content there at Something's Not Right Studios. And of course, our Mental Health Mondays have finally kicked off. It's officially going. You're going to find Mental Health Mondays directly in the Mental Health playlist on YouTube. So please keep an eye out for those as well, coming at you every Monday. No guarantees we might miss a Monday here or there, but they will be coming your way every Monday. Oh man, let me get a little sip out of my Go Tell It to the Wall mug here. Digital trends. I didn't have to gather anything. You know what's going on the social platforms right now. What's going on online. What is dominating the headlines right now. And that would be the ridiculous occurrence that happened with George Floyd. The inexcusable actions by the Minneapolis police officers. We're seeing all this. You cannot escape it at this point. And that's all that's filling my feed. And then, of course, the fallout from that is now dominating everything I see, as it should, because this is important. And we're going to talk more about that. But I want to talk, there's a couple things I want to talk about here, not even fully relating to digital trends, but just in general with the atmosphere that we are currently living in, especially in our country, but really around the world. And as you're seeing this information come through social platforms, remember to fact check everything. Anyone can post on Twitter. Anybody. Stuff does get pulled down. Yes, I recognize there are regulations, but anyone can post on Twitter. Fact check everything. Every single thing before you share it. Fact check. Make sure it is accurate. Don't jump to conclusions based on a simple post. Do your research. It's always important. Right now, it is more important than it's probably ever been in the age of social media. That's where we're at. So fact check. And I actually want to share a couple of personal stories with you. Because I hear a lot of it, and the one good thing that is coming out of this, not that there should be any good things, but the good thing, I think a lot of people have finally woken up. This is nothing new. I've been outraged more times than I care to admit, to focus on over the years, because occurrences like this happen. But we finally hit a point where I am seeing people on social platforms that never were standing up for Black Lives Matter, never were speaking out about these injustices, and now they finally are. But there's still some people out there that don't understand the concept of white privilege. White privilege has nothing to do with class, has nothing to do with money. It has to do with the fact that the color of your skin has put you at least a slight advantage over people of color. I didn't grow up with a lot of money. I didn't. But I look back and I recognize my white privilege that I've had my entire life. And I want to share a couple stories with you about my white privilege pertaining to police officers. It's funny because I was talking to a friend of mine a couple weeks ago, a friend of mine that I've known for over 20 years. I've known him since I was a teenager, since I was in high school. And he reminded me of an occurrence when I was 18 years, this was 20 years ago. I was 18 years old. And I'm driving through my hometown of Poway. I'm actually driving from one friend's house to another friend's house. I'm driving on one of the main drags there in Poway. If you're familiar with Poway, it's Pomerado Road, right out in front of Target. And if you're familiar with Poway or following what's going on in Poway right now, there's actually protesters assembling right in that area that I'm talking about. He reminded me of this time that we were driving down Pomerado, and I was pulled over by a Poway sheriff. There's a sheriff's department in Poway. Pulled over. Now, I knew when those lights went on, I saw the officer behind me before he even flashed his lights. I knew when those lights went on that all he was doing was pulling me over because he saw 3 young guys in a car. Well, what happened was, he comes up to the window, and he actually asked me to step out of the car. Step out of the car. So when I step out of the car, this is what my friend reminded me of, and I went, oh my God. I stepped out of the car, and I started yelling at this police officer. Yelling. Not at the top of my lungs, and I said to him, you had no right to pull me over. No right. Why did you stop me? Here's the thing. I didn't get slammed on a car. I didn't get put in cuffs. In fact, at the end of the interaction, the officer ended up apologizing to me. If you wonder what white privilege is, that's what it is. An 18-year-old white kid able to yell at a police officer. If I wasn't white, that would have ended very, very differently. And I'm not saying you should do this as an 18-year-old. In fact, one of my friends in the car was under 18 at the time. We were actually breaking the law, technically. We're breaking curfew laws in San Diego. Technically. But I was able to get away with that. I wouldn't recommend doing that even if you are white. I'm not endorsing that by any means. I'm only using this as an example of how if I had different color skin at that time, or honestly, if one of the 3 white kids in a car, if one of the people, one of the other guys in the car had a different color skin, that would have ended incredibly differently. Incredibly differently. That's white privilege. That's white privilege right there. That's just one example. One example. And in fact, here's another example. A few years ago, I'm in Venice Beach with my family, my wife, my daughter, my mother and father. My father had never been to Venice Beach. I know, it's crazy. I'd never been to Venice Beach. So I took him out to Venice Beach for the day. And of course, we're driving home from Venice Beach. I live a ways from Venice Beach. And unfortunately, anyone that knows me personally, I have what I like to call an Irish bladder. It means I got to go to the bathroom about every 5 minutes. I've done this since I was a teenager. And I'm exaggerating, of course, but as we're driving, I said, I really got to use the restroom. So I pull over into Ralph's. It's Ralph's parking lot in Venice Beach, you know. And my mother and father and my wife and daughter, my daughter was very young at the time, they stay in the car. I'm like, I'm just going to run in and go to the restroom. So I go and I use the restroom, and as I'm coming out of the restroom, there's a guy yelling, a white guy, yelling at another white guy. The one white guy that's yelling at the other guy is clearly drunk. The guy that's being yelled at is not just drunk, but clearly on certain substances. And he looks at me and says, hold this guy. They're trying to find him for assault. And I was like, what? What is happening right now? And I'm walking out of the bathroom, and I'm just hearing this, and I'm like, okay. So I just kind of stand there for a second, and I realize this is not what's actually happening here. This is a drunk guy who got offended by, which most likely homeless, and I believe he was, and I will tell you why when I finish the story. And he felt offended by this. So he chased him into Ralph's. So I'm standing there for a few minutes, and I'm like, I don't even know what to do. Then the manager comes over, and they finally, and I was like, did you call the police? And she says, yes, I called the police. So and at that point, I'm like, you know, my family's in my car. There's nothing I can do here. The police are on their way. Obviously, store management is over here. I go walking out of Ralph's. And as soon as I walk out of Ralph's, I see 2 police officers. They're standing right outside of Ralph's. They have stopped a gentleman who was dressed in, you know, I'm not going to say homeless, but looked like maybe he had a construction job, let's say. His clothes weren't clean, but he wasn't disheveled. His clothes weren't clean. They stopped him, and they're questioning him. And as I'm walking by, I can hear, and I'm thinking, this can't be related. As I start walking by, I realize that they are questioning this guy, thinking that he was the individual in the store who had caused the police to be called. And they were not letting him go. He said, I don't know what's happening. I just came here to go to the grocery store. And they're genuinely harassing him. Now, they're not cuffing him, but they are harassing him. No other way to describe it. They are harassing him. So I walked up and I said, officers, I was actually just in the store. The person that you were called because of is still in the store. He is white. And I said to them, I imagine when the store manager called you, the operator asked for a description, and this guy is nowhere near the description of the person you're looking for. They looked at me, they thanked me, then they turned to the other guy and they said, you can go now. They didn't apologize, nothing. What they needed was a white person to come over and explain to them that it wasn't this other guy who happened to be Hispanic. Happened to be? Or was that the reason he was singled out and harassed? There was people all over the place. All over the place. And in fact, they said to me when I was describing the guy, they said, oh yeah, we know that guy. He's one of the local transients. Didn't even make a move to the entrance of the store. That right there is white privilege. For all they knew, I could have been the crazy son of a bitch in the store and walked out and said, no, it's not that guy. He's still in the store. But no, they took me for my word at it instead of this gentleman who had just pulled into the parking lot and was walking in to go grocery shopping. Probably after a long day of work. Because like I said, he looked like he was wearing construction clothes. White privilege. That's the advantage that many of us have. You may not realize it, and if you don't, wake the fuck up. Because it's there. It's a thing. Wake up. I can't anymore. I can't. We got more on this, but I do want to talk a little bit about COVID-19. Things are opening back up around the country. Now, I realize here in Los Angeles, we are under curfew now. Businesses are closing, everything else. We're going to talk more about that shortly. We're definitely going over a half an hour today. Everyone, prepare yourselves. But things are opening back up all around the country, even here in Los Angeles. This weekend, businesses were allowed to open back up. And that's fine. These are decisions being made by the people in charge. And especially in California, I am hoping, and I have a little bit of faith that they are doing this intelligently. However, and I've seen this happening, I've heard it on the radio, other people, there's plenty of people out there that are not quite ready to go out to restaurants and be around crowds of people. They're just not. And I bring this up because it's okay not to do that. My 3-year-old is running around the house right now. I hear feet pounding on my hardwood floors. It's your right to not, it's okay to not want to go out at this point. Take care of yourself, take care of your family. Let other people go out and do these things. We are going to get another wave of this. Just be aware. And we're already seeing it around certain counties here in California and other parts of the country. There was a rural county in California that was closed up. They had 0 cases. They opened back up and ended up having a widespread infection of COVID and had to close down the town again. So we're nowhere near over. But I get it. People need to get out. Although I will say, the same people that are complaining about the spread of the virus throughout these protests, and I get it, it scares me too, are the same people that were out there complaining that they needed to get their nails done or a haircut or go to a restaurant. You can't have it both ways. Here's the difference. People are out protesting, and they have my full support. People are out protesting because someone was killed. You were upset and protesting because you wanted a fucking haircut. There's a big difference. Huge difference. And if you don't see that difference, you need some introspection right now. Right now. So take care of yourself. I'm probably a couple months away myself from actually going out to restaurants and stuff. To me, it's a slow burn here. I'm completely isolated, other than my wife going to the grocery store every 2 weeks. And my wife and 3-year-old go for walks around the block, fully masked, everything, avoiding completely everybody. It's going to be a slow burn for my family. But I'm not going to sit here and criticize others. If that's what you have to do, that's what you have to do. But that's the important thing to remember here is this is your choice. Do what's right for you and your family. And let others be. Now, obviously, people shouldn't be, you see, wear masks. Like, come on. If you're going to go out to the grocery store, wear a mask. It's not that hard. Granted, I'm a burner. I'm used to wearing masks for 8 days in the middle of the desert every year, but wear a mask. All right, the state of the protests right now. Obviously, everyone knows what's going on. It's all over the news. It's not only nationwide, it is now international. In fact, I saw clips of thousands of people outside the U.S. Embassy in Berlin. Good God, how the tables have turned when Germany is protesting the United States of America for killing somebody. Yeah, my grandfather would be like, what? You know, it's just, what? But that's the state that we're in. Los Angeles is going absolutely nuts right now. We are under a curfew. They have called in the National Guard. The National Guard arrived here last night, this morning, right around midnight from what I have seen and understand. And it's going to continue. This is going to go on for a while. And I'm going to tell you right now, go tell it to the wall, Common Sense Sundays, me personally, Sean O'Rourke, I absolutely support these protests. 100% support these protests. Take to the streets. If I did not have a 3-year-old at home, I would be on the streets myself. Despite the fact that my OCD is making me extra terrified of COVID. Voices need to be heard. This is the time for that to happen. Enough is enough. And a lot of people are talking about looting. And I get it. I am in no way supporting the looting anywhere around the country, anywhere around the world. Nobody logically supports that. But here's the thing that people don't understand. They automatically put protesting and looting hand in hand. These same people that are putting those hand in hand are the same people out there saying not all police are horrible. And I don't think all police are horrible. However, we do need systematic change to the criminal justice system. But again, you cannot have it both ways. You can't say, well, not all police officers are bad people, and then say, well, all protesters are bad people because a few people are looting. Looting is wrong. It's bad. Setting businesses on fire is not right. However, this country has been pushed to that point where it is necessary. It's not necessary to loot, but it is necessary to take to the streets and make everyone's voices heard. The looting is simply an unfortunate byproduct of that. The looting is wrong, but it's going to occur because we need to take to the streets. Everyone should be making their voices heard right now. If you're not outraged, there is something wrong with you, because you should be. My wife and I just this morning donated to the Los Angeles Bail Fund. So we are supporting people that have been arrested while protesting. And I think if you're looking for something to do, there's lots of organizations that are doing this. You can donate directly to Black Lives Matter. As I said at the top of the episode, I'm seeing people that never posted anything, never had any voice regarding Black Lives Matter and these social injustices. Suddenly now they are. We've hit that point. We've hit that point. So please, I implore all of you out there, take to the streets, make your voices heard, donate to those that need it. Offer aid to anyone that might need it. Be safe, be strong, and be smart. But make sure to be heard. Because the important thing here is no justice, no peace. Peace is not coming until there is justice in this country. And on another note with that, I've actually been following closely, as I mentioned, the growing protest in Poway, California. It's a small city near San Diego. That's where I grew up. That's my hometown. And I'm proud of you, Poway, because in my entire life I've never seen these protests like this happen in Poway. It doesn't usually happen there. But again, to everyone out there that's still in that area that I grew up with and that I know, and we all love the same things about that town, we hate the same things, we love the same things, be safe, be smart. But it's okay to get a little CPK, and remember that. All right, parenting. I want to talk a little bit about parenting. I don't have it. I really wish I had better tips for everyone. And if people have tips, please share them on Facebook.com/GoTellItToTheWall. Shoot them to me. I'm in this situation. I'm a little bit lucky, I guess, for lack of a better word. My daughter's only 3. So I have been talking to her about it. She knows that things are happening. My wife and I are talking about it. Uh-oh. Oh, geez. Okay, Matt, make sure your mom is safe. If she needs to, tell her if she needs to get out of there quick, just head up to 67 to Ramona. That's going to be your best bet. But hopefully everyone stays safe out there. Personal friend and friend of the podcast, Matt, his mother works at the Walmart there in Poway. So please make sure she stays safe, Matt. Please. Like I said, these are necessary. Let's not destroy Poway. I'm sure we're in for a bit of a day and night here in Poway. Everybody is, but just be safe, be smart, make your voices heard. As I was saying with parenting, my daughter's 3. So my wife and I have been talking to her about it, and we've explained, protests and why people are taking to the streets. And obviously, I'm not showing her fires and looting and stuff, because that's going to just confuse her more. But it is important as a parent, and I think to anyone out there, it's tough, but it's necessary. Speak to your children. Make sure they're not confused. Communicate with them. Children, they're people. They want to understand. And depending on their ages is how much kind of information you share with them, of course. But make sure you don't just push it to the side. Make sure you don't shelter them from everything. Make sure they understand at least a little bit of what's going on in the world right now. They don't need to see those videos. They don't need to see the video of George Floyd necessarily. But they do need to understand why people take to the streets. Raise children with compassion. That is of the utmost importance. Anytime. But especially right now. Especially right now. I mean, we're living in a state of emergency here in Los Angeles. Literally. So of course I had to put on my Barstool Preachers State of Emergency shirt. Timely, I swear to God, the Barstool Preachers, they are psychics. Probably TJ and Bungle. They're the psychics of the group. Like the song come out and then you're like, oh, we are in a state of emergency now. I mean, okay, that's what's happening. Mental health. Obviously, this is a strain on everybody's mental health, especially those of you that deal with a severe mental illness. It's been killing me. I go from crying to anger, back to crying to just staring at a wall. That's the cycle of what I've been going through the past week or so. And in fact, I found myself yelling at the television yesterday. I was eating lunch and my wife was reading a book, and I had the protests on here in LA. And if anyone was watching the LA protests, a car went speeding up to the crowd and through the crowd. Luckily, I don't think anyone was seriously hurt. But as I saw this happening, I had flashbacks to the news coverage in Charlottesville, Virginia. And I stood up. I'm sitting there eating lunch in my living room on my little coffee table and just kind of, it's like 4 o'clock. I'm finally getting around to eating lunch. That's my life. But I stood up. I saw the car coming. I stood up and I yelled at the TV, "Get out of the way! Get out of the way!" I'm looking back like nobody can hear me. Nobody at all can hear me. But that's what I did. And that's where my mental state is right now. I'm making sure my family is okay. And then I'm doing what I can to help the cause. Like I said, I'm not a talented person. I can't go out and give great speeches. I yell at a wall, But I'm doing what I can, and I ask that all of you do what you can, but at the same time, take care of your mental state. Don't push yourself to the point where it is going to adversely affect you mentally. And on another note, when it comes to mental health and mental illness, today is May 31st. It is the last day of Mental Health Awareness Month, but as I say every year on this date, remember, please remember, Mental Health Awareness Month may be over for this year, but for those of us that deal with debilitating mental illness, it's 12 months a year. So care for your loved ones. Check on your loved ones. Do what you can. Because not just 1 month, for many, many, many people out there living with a serious mental illness. All right, I want to talk a little bit about entertainment. I'm going to do my best to lighten it up a little bit here. I feel like I was missing something. No. Oh, that's what I will say. One other thing on mental health. Definitely take a break. It is important to be informed when it comes to the news and the social media and make sure you are fact-checking, but take a break from it. Walk away from it for a few minutes. Go listen to some music, watch a cartoon, watch something silly. Just take a break from that. It's going to help your mental well-being immensely. That's what I'm trying to do. And in my house, I say to my, okay, stop. Just put down the phone for a little while. You need a little break from it. Because I'm going through that cycle of sadness, anger, not complacency, but just not knowing what to do. So make sure you are taking care of yourself. Be informed, but take care of yourself at the same time. All right, I want to talk, like I said, about a couple entertainment things. Here's my Go Tells the Wall mug. We're going to see if we can get some more of these produced, and maybe we'll give them out to some of our big patrons and our big supporters, probably people that are on the wall here behind me. Entertainment stuff. We'll lighten it up a little bit to finish out here. We got some good news this past week. The Muppets on Disney Plus. That's right. This was in development for a while, and it was kind of like, yeah, we're going now. Yeah, here now. Now we have an official premiere date for the Muppets on Disney Plus. It's going to be called Muppets Now, and it is 6 episodes premiering July 31st. The premise of the show is going to be updated, and I have a feeling this will be not necessarily geared completely towards adults, but as Muppets have been since the beginning of Muppets, there is an adult appeal to it, and I'm sure this one's going to be kind of on that side. We're not talking puppet up, I mean raunchy Muppets, but it's going to be fun for the whole family. I'll be watching it and making sure. Seeing if my daughter is going to be able to watch it too, which I'm sure she will. She loves the Muppets. We are a Muppet household. There is literally a shrine to the Muppets over here, just to my left. Everyone that watches the live feed, you actually get a little animal face in there, but it's actually a whole Muppets like shrine there. And yes, if you follow me on Twitter, my handle is @MagicMuppet. That is my playa name, proudly. So I love me some Muppets. Face masks. If anyone out there is still looking for cool face masks, make sure you check out Legion M, especially if you're a Kevin Smith fan like myself. Legion M has some masks that they are selling, and the proceeds go to the Actors Fund. Make sure you're supporting artists, actors, musicians. I've been saying this since the beginning of COVID and the pandemic. Make sure, and this is a great way to do it because you need a mask, and if you're a Kevin Smith fan, you can get a Kevin Smith mask. I have got a lot of masks. Probably going to get a freaking Kevin Smith one too, because right next to my Muppet shrine is kind of my Kevin Smith stuff over here, where I have my in-action figures and everything. Those are two things that I absolutely love, absolutely love. I know we're getting a lot of people joining the live feed late, so for those of you that are only catching the end, make sure you'll be able to go back and rewatch this. And before I continue with entertainment, let me say again, the Facebook live feed is not the best. It does get posted to YouTube. It lives on Facebook for a while. But you're not getting the best audio, and the camera on Facebook is not fantastic. So make sure you are actually subscribing to the podcast. And actually, one housekeeping thing that I forgot to mention. For those of you that listen on Google Play Music, keep in mind that Google is migrating all of their podcasts over to Google Podcasts. So right now, you can still get Go Tell to the Wall on Google Play, as well as Google Podcasts. We just moved it over to Google Podcasts this past week. So it's on both of those, but eventually it's only going to be on Google Podcasts. But as I was saying, make sure you're subscribed. That's where you're going to get the best audio. We also still pictures go up and stuff. So the video is nice because you can kind of see the comments, and it allows me to interact with some people that jump on for the live feed. Although days like today where I'm just ranting and yelling at a wall, there's less of that. But please make sure you're actually subscribed. And if you're just joining in on the live feed and just catching the entertainment stuff, the beginning of this episode was a little bit different. So make sure you go back and check that out as well. More entertainment. Stool Preachers. They were featured on a virtual festival, Punk Rock Hoedown yesterday, and of course. Now, we've hit a point, and I believe it's the same in England, obviously. TJ and Bungle were actually able to be in the same room together. They weren't hanging out, hugging or anything, but they were actually in the same room. So we got the both of them yesterday on the Punk Rock Saves Lives. My gosh, I'm losing it here. The Punk Rock Saves Lives Facebook page. And I am so ready for their new album. They played Lighthouse Keeper again. There was another new song. that they had played. And so as of now, we're looking at 4. Well, we've gotten 2 new EP songs, and then another 2 songs that are gonna be on the new album. I am so ready for this new Stool Preachers album. And I will tell you, like I said, I'm wearing my Stool Preachers State of Emergency shirt. I see you on there, Paul. The great Paul Smith of Zombie Teeth Clothing. His artwork, so goddamn good. Like, I mean, I'd seen it, but I opened it and I looked at the shirts. I was like, oh, it's so damn good. Pick up some Stool Preachers merch, especially for the new EP, because, like I said, great artwork. And it was really perfect timing because this past week I was supposed to be seeing the Stool Preachers on Thursday night and Friday night. Hey, Carrie, and Paul. Oh, see, I see you on there still, Paul. Again, more people are joining. Make sure you go back because this was an important episode. And make sure you get the beginning of it as well. Subscribe, get the audio. But as I was saying, oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought here. Oh, my package actually arrived on Thursday. And I'll tell you, we're up to like 15, 16 concerts. Laura, I don't know if you're still on the live stream. How many concerts we had? It was a dozen a while ago. And Barstool, that one it hit me hard because they have fast become my favorite band over bands that I've been listening to for 25 plus years, crazy as that sounds. And that one hit me. It hit me. I was like, I really want to be at a show tonight. And of course, my package comes, and I've got some new Stool Preachers merch here. Of course, I got some t-shirts and I got a sweatshirt, and it's like 90 degrees here in Los Angeles. It's the beginning of summer, so I'll be sitting in my air-conditioned house trying out my new sweatshirt. So make sure you're getting that merch. And of course, Friday was helping a little bit with the lack of shows and concerts. This past Friday when Dropkick Murphys took to the field in Boston at Fenway Park there. I'll tell you, I laughed, I cried a little, I got goosebumps. Everything about it was fantastic, and it was definitely something I needed. Once I started watching and got about halfway through, I realized, like, oh man, I really, really needed this. And so thank you to Dropkick Murphys for doing that, because so many shows have been missed, and thank God we're getting at least something out of it. And like I said, Punk Rock Saves Lives. If you're not familiar with this organization, they're doing great things. They are a non-profit organization. So check out Punk Rock Saves Lives on Facebook, all the platforms, Instagram. Check out their website. Get yourself a Punk Rock Saves Lives shirt. I'm going to get one of those coming my way soon, so hopefully we'll have one of those on the podcast as well. But definitely, please check out Punk Rock Saves Lives. All right, that's pretty much going to do it. I'm exhausted. I was up late last night watching the news and just kind of going crazy and everything else. And personally, I need a little break from it. But like I said, please, everyone out there, especially if you're just watching on the live feed, please make sure you subscribe, like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GoTellItToTheWall, and share with your friends. I know this isn't for everybody, these kind of podcasts, not for everybody, but share with your friends. And please help to get the word out about me yelling at a wall at least once a week. We're probably a month or so away from official Go Tell to the Wall episodes on Thursday nights again, so that is going to happen. But please just subscribe, share, tell your friends. Want to get the word out as much as possible. And also look, like I said, we're doing a lot more of the sharing products and stuff on our Facebook page. So if you're interested in things like masks, Paul Smith of Zombie Teeth Clothing, like I mentioned, we have shared his link up there where you can not only get masks, but you can get like the cool shirt that I had on not last week, a couple weeks ago. I have to go back and look. I can't. I go to look. I'm like, what's a good T-shirt for this one? And Mental Health Awareness Month, perfect. And then today, State of Emergency. Yeah, there's literally no other shirt to wear for today. So I can't remember, but it was recent. Go back, check it out. Also, make sure you're supporting all of those artists. And make sure you're checking out Something's Not Right Studios. We got some new content that's up there now. New content in collaboration with Something's Not Right Studios coming this week as well. So make sure you're subscribed to them in addition to our Go Tell It to the Wall channel on YouTube, which just search Go Tell It to the Wall, subscribe. You're going to find all kinds of great stuff on there as well. And of course, you can follow my own personal Instagram account, which is at SoCalSean. And in fact, if you go on to Instagram right now, look at my my account at SoCalSean, you're going to see a picture of the lovely new Stool Preachers merch that I received a couple days ago. So check that out. Yeah, I'm exhausted. I know everyone out there is exhausted too. But I will say, stay safe. Make your voices heard. But stay safe. And take care of yourselves. Take care of your family. Yeah. And that one I got on now. Paul's like, and that shirt you got. I know. I'm obsessed. I am obsessed with Zombie Teeth clothing, and I am obsessed with Barstool Preachers, and I am obsessed with the new artwork for the EP. So thank you, Paul. I love it. I'm probably gonna be picking up a sweatshirt from Zombie Teeth now that it's 90 degrees here in California. But everyone out there, please stay safe. I know I literally have close friends on the ground. No matter where you are, be careful out there. Take care of one another. Take care of your families, and make sure you're looking out and checking on one another. That's the important thing. And take care of your mental health, because it's going to be a while. We're in for a little bit. Thank you, Carrie. Oh, going to be sunny in Scotland tomorrow. Thank you, Dougie. I love that you're checking it out. Please share with all your friends. Please share with all your friends. And I got to say, before we close out for the day, I am so incredibly proud of my punk rock family. I'm watching the great things coming out from a lot of people that I know through the punk rock world. That just, it's smart, well thought out things, and the support that I'm seeing for the cause is just on another level. So thank you everyone out there, and I will be taking care of myself too. Thank you, Paul. On that note, that's gonna do it for Common Sense Sundays with Go Tell Us the Wall. This has been episode 4. I'm your absolute favorite podcast host, the one and only Sean O'Rourke. We'll be back next Sunday, same wall place, same wall time. And remember, wall fans, common sensors, podcast consumers, social media world, no matter what you do, no matter who you're with, no matter where you go, and especially no matter why you are doing it, always use common sense. I need a less squeaky chair. I do that every freaking time. I lean back and I go to stop, and there's this I don't know if you can actually hear it on the feed, but I get it through my good mic, which, like I said, is important. If you're only catching this live feed, please make sure to subscribe, share with your friends. You're gonna get much this is all Facebook's not the best, but we use it because I'm able to connect with a lot of people that enjoy the podcast. And Sundays have been tougher, but Chris and Bridget are usually on as well. That helps me communicate with them. So that's kind of why we use Facebook. But you're going to get the full experience by subscribing wherever you get your podcasts, and make sure you're checking out our other cool content on YouTube as well. New punk rock suggestion of the week. I'm actually going to shoot that shortly here, so look out for that on Something's Not Right Studios. Thank you to everyone for joining. Most importantly, please stay safe. Stay safe. Speak up. Make your voices heard. But above all, stay safe. And just anyone out there that's doubting what's happening right now, know that it has to happen. We've hit a point. People are tired. People are tired of this. And that's all we can do. You know? The looting is just an unfortunate byproduct of everything else. Everything else. So, make your voices heard. No peace. No peace. No justice. No peace. That's the most important thing to keep in mind. And on that note, I'm going to call it a day. I got some stuff to do here. Some other content that's coming your way. Check out Mental Health Mondays tomorrow. Something's Not Right Studios stuff coming your way. New stuff went up a few days ago. New stuff coming this week as well. So keep an eye out for that. Thank you everyone for watching. And remember, if you've got any complaints at all about me, go tell them to a wall.